our grand final will be starting soon. Okay, it's just going to be occurring between the ESU Dawnbreakers and the Nightmares. This will actually be their second time playing today because their pool play match against each other was for their last match in pool play for both of them. It was a win to the Nightmares in the end, though it was a close match, I believe. I don't quite recall the score. I do believe it came down to the snitch catch, but Nightmares did end up winning it. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how these two go. Having already played against each other today with, I think, no injuries between them since then from the semi-final matches. So they should still have the same squads that they had before. So it'll be fairly interesting to see if the Dawnbreakers are able to capitalize on any strategies that they may have been practicing since their match against the Nightmares this morning, or if the Nightmares will continue to use some strategies that maybe they used in their semi-final match, where they beat the other ESU club just earlier this afternoon, the ESU Nightbringers. They were fairly dominant in that match, making a lot of utilization with their beaters to just control the Quadball play. So we will see how the Dawnbreakers will use that. I believe we've just got the teams switching sides from the captain's talk, so very soon they'll be setting up with their lineups and we'll be getting started in this match. But undoubtedly these are definitely the two strongest teams that have been here all weekend. They've won all of their other games against all their other opponents this weekend, including, as already mentioned, the ESU Nightbringers, the Newcastle Fireballs, the what ended up being a conglomerate between the Valkyries Quidditch Club and with Macquarie Marauders and the Northern Dragons, as well as a conglomerate Merc team with players from ANU, USC, and the Southwest Horntails. So that was a good conglomerate team. They were the team the Dawnbreakers beat to make the grand final. They beat them quite easily in their semi-final. So it looks like they're just getting the pitch all set up. All the balls are on the field now. Our head ref for this match is Cuba Fitzgerald. He's been reffing quite a lot this weekend and is one of the more experienced available head refs for this matches. Some of the other available head referees are actually playing in this match. So a lot of the ref squad is just made up of players who are still here after the weekend. A number of players have already departed Newcastle, just needing to get back to their home states or hometowns. So very soon they will be starting this match. Looks like they're just making sure the final checkups with the lines are all okay. Making sure all the cones are in place. Have been a couple of calls of with out of bounds of whether or not they actually have been, due to some just basically weird placements of the fields this weekend, because we're using more round oval that we're not used to seeing used in Quidditch. We're used to being more on things like soccer pitches and other football fields as well. So this kind of round field I think just has confused everybody a little bit with the perspective of the cones and in terms of trying to just determine the field boundaries. I think, yeah, they're just doing some double checks here with some of the cones on the sideline just to make sure that everything is in place. And it looks like the cup for the winners have just been delivered. They are just popping up on the chair just next to the time ball. There's a very quite shiny trophy that I believe the winners will eventually get. And then I believe, is there a little thing for the runners-up? No, it looks, there is, and also a runners-up trophy as well. Or that may be a cup for what is the most valuable player of this tournament, which has also been being tallied throughout the weekends during each match this weekend. Each team's been voting for a most valuable player of the opposing team that they played, and counting on those votes this weekend, and even double checking some things in semi-finals. Committees have just been looking at which players have just been performing outstandingly all weekend, looking at how they've been working with their team, making sure that everything is all good. Alright, so a little bit of things just there with the ESU Dawnbreakers, 2 players walking on with the keeper headband for Jacob Sullivan and Cameron Walker walking on with a keeper headband. Obviously both playing keeper most predominantly, so a little bit of a change of making sure that they've actually got the right headbands. Okay, so yeah, Jacob just going out there and switching his headband. Okay, so it looks like we've got our starting lineups coming onto the field. So for the ESU Dawnbreakers, we've got, as already mentioned, Cameron Walker, Jacob Sutherland. We've also got, oh, and this is going to test my knowledge of all of their names. We also have Jackson Flynn, as well as, I believe, so Chloe as well. Unfortunately, I do not know the names of ESU 82 and 84, as they don't have names on the back of their jerseys. But for Nightmares, we have Brandon Prison, Tom Russell, Yuki Imizui, Trish Herrera, Gani Hirundo is there, as well as, I'm trying to see if I can see their last beater. I believe that's Samantha Chittenden just off to the side as the last beater for the Nightmares. Yep, so just have to head ref Cooper there, double checking that the placements of the players for the brooms up are all evenly spaced. A general rule is you cannot be more than or less than a meter close. And we have our brooms down called.
Dawnbreakers, are you ready? Snitches, Jono! Ready! Brooms up!
Oh, look, yep, and we are going to have a brooms down immediately on brooms up, as Brandon Prison immediately realized he'd false started and dismounted himself. But this is the kind of thing of, it will be a card even though he did dismount himself, as you are not allowed to false start on a brooms up. So this will be an easy quaffle win for... Oh no, they are now resetting the startup procedure. Okay, but Brandon has received a card, so will not be featured in this start. So they now have to, Nightmares will now have to reshuffle their starting lineup to make sure that they do actually have enough players to cover this in different positions, as Brandon will now be in the sub box. Okay, so just double checking the placements of the balls there. Oh, and it looks like there they are saying the blue card is overturned, as it was only an initial false start rather than a second false start. So the blue card has been overturned. Brandon will be allowed to return to his starting position in the lineup. And we will start this again.
Nightmares, are you ready? Yeah! Dawnbreakers, are you ready? Ready! Brooms up!
And we're off this time, and yeah, Brandon correcting himself this time and not false starting. However, he does not win the quaffle. Cam Walker being a little bit too fast there. Good tackle from him though, and a good intercept from Gunny from Nightmares to get the quaffle win. Pass off to Brandon, who decides to take a shot. It goes a little bit over the hoop, but he didn't have any of supporting chasers with him that he saw, and did have Jackson Flynn there with a bludger in a defensive player there just for the Dawnbreakers. So an interesting start here. Obviously a false start being quite rare just within Quidditch at the moment. Not a lot of players false start with the new procedure. Yeah, but we do still see it sometimes, as players might just jump the gun a little bit and just go a little bit too fast. So Dawnbreakers now moving up the field. Cam Walker faking a shot there, passes off to Jacob Sutherland. Okay, try to read the play, pass back to Cam. Cam deciding to take the shot, but good intercept from Gunny, and Brandon has just grabbed the ball again. Okay, beater play there between Harry Jones and Jackson Flynn. Getting some bludgers out of play. Brandon having a clean run on hoops, but a good intercept from Jacob, meaning he can now just run up the hoop. But Sam Chittenden is coming in with a bludger, but she just misses. And a good tackle there from Tom Russell means that Jacob's shot on goal did not end up going through. Okay, a little bit of some beater play then there, but a good dodge there from Zale of Dawnbreakers together, and a good beat on Gunny to stop that drive up the field. So currently 0-0 between these two teams, but it's still very fast paced. They've not slowed down, they're still going quite fast. But we'll see how they now go here, getting a chance to maybe do a set offense and defensive play for both teams, and we will see just what comes up with it. So Dawnbreakers chasers, as well as their beaters, are moving up the field just to see what they can make of this play. Dawnbreakers currently having beater control, so they may be able to take out the beaters or take out some other chasers to control the play here. Some good passing behind the hoops, but a good tackle there from Tom Russell, and he did steal the ball in that tackle as well. So Tom Russell playing very well defensively here. Alright, just got some subs and changes for the Nightmares. So the new Quaffle lineup with Tom Russell, Brandon Frizen still there, Max Brenner on as well, and Sarah King. She's currently just standing sneakily behind the hoops, no one marking her. So she's a very open passing option right now. So we'll see how they do. Still increasing that pressure. Tom trying to do a screen there, but not quite reading the play. Brandon deciding to just run and drive through, but I believe Brandon would have been beat before. So that will go to Cam Walker with the Dawnbreakers. So again, still no goals in this match. But very similar to their match before, as I said, it was quite a close game with the Nightmares only just winning with the snitch catch earlier this afternoon. So it's very reminiscent of their earlier match. But both teams creating a lot of opportunities on both ends just to see how they are able to find those chances, but just not capitalize them. And now Martina from Dawnbreakers passing through, and I believe that may be counted as a no goal. The goal ref has put his hands up as a no goal, but want the taller ESU chaser, I'm not aware of her name, but number 82. Oh, she was dismounted before she released the quaffle. So it was a good, excellent play there and a good read by Martina from the Dawnbreakers to create that play. She's been very good at all of her playmaking today, this weekend as well. Just a little bit unfortunate there. So again, still no goal. This match is still goalless, and we are yet to see anything on the scoreboard. But we'll see if Nightmares here can create some opportunities. Some beater play there from Sam and Harry has created an opening, but Jackson Flynn quick to recover and is now standing back on hoops. Good pass there from Tom to Max. Max trying to make a chance to drive through, passing off to Brandon. The beater play here from, that is Dale, and Jackson is just quite good today, and a shot there from Brandon, or Tom, Brandon recovered it though, and is now going again. Got a good tackle there on him to stop the play, and we've just got a brooms down here. It looks like there may have just been two calls from the ARs of they were differing about whether or not Brandon was beat. I believe one said beat, the other said safe. Brandon had the safe call and continued to play. They are interpreting it as the safe, but we do have just a card there for Chloe Nebone from the ESU Dawnbreakers, having been called for high tackle. Just on Brandon, he will start with Quaffle again right on the hoops. We'll see if he decides to just drive through and score. And he does, yes. So that is our first goal of this match. It is 10-0 to the Nightmares. And Chloe being allowed to come back on field now. So that is our first goal of this match. I think we're at least a few minutes into the time of this match. Unfortunately, I'm not sitting near the time and scorekeepers to keep a track of the timing. So Dawnbreakers now moving up the field. Again, quite a bit of a slow pace, but a good pass from Cameron. Oh, but the wind just carrying it a little bit too far. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's been sort of on and off all weekend. Sometimes being a bit stronger at times. And it's a little bit stronger at the point, blowing in the direction towards perhaps the Nightmares hoop, so the wind carrying it a little bit further than that pass from Kathryn wanted it to be. So Nightmares progressing on the field now. Max taking opportunity of a screen from Ashan, and the shot again just not quite going through the hoop there. So Nightmares, lots of opportunities being created, but the shots are just a little bit off today. So again, Dawnbreakers walking up the field. It looks like Cam is waiting for Jackson and his beater partner Chris just to try and make a play. Cam, pass off not quite being read probably. Oh, but the Martina ending up with the ball, passes back to Cameron. So we'll get a chance to kind of reset their play while beater play is still happening. And a pass just behind Hoops from the Dawnbreakers. Ended up with Kathryn Taylor, but Max Brenner quickly intercepting it. Max running up the field to try and see. So it looks like we just got some very aggressive beta play from both teams here at the moment. And unfortunately, neither team's been really able to capitalize on their goal opportunities that the beta play is creating for them. But Nightmares now, again, just trying to move around a little bit, trying to see what plays they can create here. Max, I think, yeah, just trying to direct his fellow Quaffle players with their balls. Harry, though, beating out the beaters there. So, a good tackle there on Max. Max getting beat out, and Cam being in his keeper zone, just in his keeper zone there, getting the Quaffle. Cam deciding to run upfield, passing to Kathryn Taylor, and Kathryn Taylor has scored Dawnbreakers' first goal of the match. So it is now 10-all here, but Nightmares deciding that they will do a quick turnaround. And Ashan ending a ball, but I think we will get a brooms down here. As I believe the screen on Cameron Walker from Aiden Weatherstone there may have been a little bit too aggressive. And as well, if you may not have heard it through the microphone, but Cam Walker did yell out on field, can we be watching for the screens? Just to make sure that they are, so... Yep, and it is being called as charging, so it looks like there may have also been a charging motion in there as well. Charging being illegal in Quidditch, we are not allowed to make a single point of direct contact with a player as we do move into them. It has to be multiple points of contact, so usually chest to chest is what a lot of people play for. Alright, but Cam deciding, no, just to take it a little bit slow rather than driving up. Oh, Cam subbing off the field here, passing the ball to Martina. So we'll see how Dawnbreakers go. He sees if they will be able to capitalize on there being one less Quaffle player with the Nightmares here. Martina by moving up the field, a pass through to Jacob Sutherland, and Jacob Sutherland has scored. That was an excellent read there between Martina and Jacob to create that opportunity there. So for the first time this match, the Dawnbreakers are in front. It is now 20-10. But again, Nightmares deciding, no, we would have moved the field, but a good beat on Max there. Oh, may have been called safe. Sorry. So it looks like we will now just have a bit of a scuffle, but Jackson Flynn coming in here will beat Max. And it means that they will be able to safely get the ball to Jacob Sutherland's hands, as he is their keeper at the moment. So Dawnbreakers moving up the field here just to see what they can do here now that they do have Aiden back in the play after getting that card. So some just small passes there between their players. Oh, we are going to have a brooms down here. I believe that may have been a call with the beta play there. Yep, that was for ignoring ref calls. Again, there's been a number of cards there this weekend for ignoring ref calls just across all the teams. Okay, so that will be a yellow card just for ignoring the ref call there. I believe that is Chris from the Dawnbreakers. But again, ignoring ref calls, even in the middle of play, can greatly affect how play works. So it's good that they kind of picked up now. It does mean, though, that the Nightmares will get the Quaffle. And they get this Aiden running up the field, but a good beat there from Jackson Flynn to get the beat there. A lot of beating happening in this scuffle, but Ashana Bay just outside keeps getting the ball, being able to move up a little bit and realizing that Jackson Flynn has had time to run back in. And it looks like, yep, we're going to have another brooms down here. It may have been about whether or not players were or were not beat. There were a lot of beats there. They may be discussing it about Brian, one of the quite good players from the Dawnbreakers there. He's had quite an impact when he's been on field in their previous matches. As they were calling for him to be beat, he was in the middle, perhaps at the bottom of that scuffle just then, but he was doing his best to get out of that by taking his hands off the ball and just moving as best as he could out from the bottom scuffle. So play will continue there, no calls being made, but it means that at least for both teams, they've got a bit more of a chance to set up their play and see what they can do. But Jackson Flynn deciding to run forward beating out of Sean, but Aiden Weatherstone getting a nice pass to Holly Cancross just behind the hoops here. Ball gets out to Jen Costa, but Brian again just getting in on that scuffle. There will be a brooms down here, though. I think that may have been a little bit of a two-arm wrap there from James Hosford. So the keeper headband, as James Hosford was on as keeper, will go to Aiden. And the quaffle will go back to Dawnbreakers. So we've had a couple of cards here now in fairly quick succession for both teams.
On that side
so I think the previous game this morning didn't have too many cards in it. So just perhaps just different mindsets, different play styles that they're trying to just use to try and create some opportunities in this match. Score still here being 20-10 to the Dawnbreakers. Okay, so Dawnbreakers just passing around on the hoops here. Just to see what they can. Jacob Sutherland, though, is standing unmarked behind the hoops. So we'll see if the Dawnbreakers can make a play on this. I think they are waiting for their beaters to create a little bit of an opportunity to see if anything can happen. Brian is starting to get through, and he gets a goal there from there. It looks like distractions from the other chasers. Allowed Brian to have a drive through with the beaters as well, as their beaters did come out of that play with bludger control. So looks like here, at least for now, the Dawnbreakers are dominating this match. And Nightmares here calling a timeout, as it looks like they may just want to refresh, just have a quick chat, try and just get their minds just focused again, as they are looking a little bit more frazzled than the Dawnbreakers are. May not have seen it or heard it, but the Dawnbreakers having a bit more of a positive attitude coming into this time out. They'll probably just be talking about keeping it up, what they're doing, because what they're doing at the moment is working quite well. They're able to kind of work together with their quaffle players and their beaters to create those opportunities that allow them to just kind of find gaps in the Nightmares defense. Perhaps whether it is just taking out a quaffle player or with the bludger, or creating some opportunities with the beaters, or even as they did in that play before, of allowing one player to have more focus on themselves, meaning that they can have an unmarked player nearby to score instead. So the timeout soon just now ending here. So everyone will just be coming back to their rooms here. So I said the score now with that goal from the Dawnbreakers is now 30-10. So being up by 2 goals, even in a match this low scoring, can create a little bit more of an impact. So obviously right now, at the moment with the currency rule sets, if you're 30 points up, it will just go to an overtime. It will still cause an overtime result as well if you catch a snitch from 30 points down, or even more than 30 points down these days. But the idea here obviously being is that you want to be up when you catch the snitch, just so that way you can just create that nice winning opportunity for you. So Nightmares having used their reset there, but it looks like, they did keep beater control the Dawnbreakers there through that play. As I said, and they did cause the Nightmares to use their reset, so they will have to be quite careful about their passing now, as if they go back behind the keeper line, the midway line again, they'll be called for it and will be given a quaffle turnover. So Chris there from the Dawnbreakers creating a lot of pressure there on the quaffle players, doing a lot of just kind of like threatening fake outs to force the Nightmares to make some decisions. So Nightmares really slowing it down here, trying to do something. Chris there from the Dawnbreakers just dominating this entire play. Unfortunately, the beat there on I think that may have just been a quick beat there on Ashan. It means that Jacob Sutherland is really running up the field. And we're going to have a brooms down here. I believe, quaffle, a bludger here did just go into dangerous territory. So dangerous territory, we are using that a lot this weekend. As we are surrounded by an open metal fence near the field. If you can see on the camera footage, I'm not sure if you'll be able to, but there is a metal fence that is perhaps only at maximum 10 meters away from the field boundaries, at least on this side of the field. So there's been a lot of calls of just having to need a brooms down, just to make sure that the balls can be safely retrieved, safely returned to the field. So Chrissy, the beater from Dawnbreakers, will be able to start just on pitch with the bludger there. So it now does kind of give less momentum there to Jacob Sutherland to trying to score. Being tackled by Brandon quite to the ground, not good as well. So it looks like everyone is just having a bit of a pile on. Yuki, though, running in, Nightmares beater there, beating out all of the Quadball players that were nearby from the Dawnbreakers. So a good defensive tactic there from Yuki of, like, in a pile on like that, you do just want to beat out as many of the opposing team as possible. So Nightmares, again, advancing out the field, again, just trying to see what they can do as they're coming up against a double bludger defense here with the Dawnbreakers. So trying to wait to see, can their beater, JV James Lim, just coming up to try and distract their beaters. So a pass from Brandon to Jackson Shields and then back to Ava McConnell with the Quadball play just to try and see what they can do as their beaters weren't able to really create any plays there. Oh, Brian Ruka running up to see if he can intercept the pass. Oh, the shot from Brandon's missed, but Jackson Shields there to create a second opportunity. Passing back to Brandon, but kind of creating some passing shots there. But one of their Quadball players, Trish, has been beating out, so there will now be 3 against the full defense. And James Lim there. Oop, okay, so it looks like we will have a brooms down here. There was no call made about whether that went in or not. So they might discuss whether or not it did. So we'll see what happens here, because the hoop did also come down. So it looks like they are kind of, may have to go off just like the best view they had. So, yep, they are calling that goal good. So it looks like they're just the passing over the hoops there, just creating some different, just passing shots, as I called them. Just over the hoops did end up resulting in a goal for the Nightmares. So the score is now 30-20. As I said, still very low scoring for this match. But as I said, Snitch is not on pitch yet, and everything can change when that does happen. Okay, so the beat is there for ESU, trying to create some play, some distractions. And Chris from the Dawnbreakers, they're doing quite well. Oh, this peanut butter, unfortunately, getting beat out by Yuki. So they have lost bleeding control, and they are now getting beat quite a little bit. So Brandon from Nightmares now getting the ball, being able to drive around the field. Oh, but a good deflect there from Jacob. Oh, and then Jackson Fields unfortunately not reading where his players were, meaning Jacob Sutherland to get the ball here. The pass to Martina by, a little bit too maybe tall for her, just out of her hands, but a good tackle there from Trish. Passing off, getting intercepted and read by Jacob. Still a lot of things happening around the hoops, a lot of just kind of intercepts here. But eventually Brandon and Kiva for the Nightmares at the moment, ending up with the quaffle. So quite a lot of just hectic things happening there, but it seems to be that's how Dawnbreakers are currently controlling the match. They are playing more fast-paced than Nightmares. They are just trying to do good deflect there from Jacob Sutherland. Brandon doing a little bit of a drive and dish. Oh, and another brooms down again. Oh, as the ball came off a non-keeper player for the Dawnbreakers. So the inbounding rules at the back line. If that ball had not been touched by anyone other than Jacob Sutherland before the ball went out, it would still have been a Dawnbreakers ball. However, as we saw, Jackson Shields did pick up the ball, and then the Dawnbreakers player must have stepped out the field. But the pass there from Trish, I believe just to Ava, being intercepted quite easily by Jacob. So Dawnbreakers again here, just advancing up the field. We may see a similar play to what they've been doing before, just trying to create a couple of distractions. So Jacob passing to Martina there. I believe the call there from Timekeepers, the game time is 13:25. Oh, a good intercept there from Jackson Shields. The pass from Martina just going a little bit into just straight to his hands. Oh, and the beater pair of Harry Jones and JV James Lim just creating some, resulting in them getting bludger control from what is becoming a quite dominant bludger team of the Dawnbreakers. So probably more opportunities here for the Nightmares to score, only having one bludger in the defensive play along with the Quaffle players here. So we'll see what can come from this. A pass from Jackson to Ava. Ava deciding she will just drive through herself, but got beat out in the end. Dawnbreakers here, moving past the halfway line. From here, and the beaters there, it looks like, yep, they are going to get beater control here, and Cam Walker speedily getting to the the quaffle just before Brendan. The shot, though, going well over and ends up going far off the pitch, so there will be a brooms down here as for how far away the quaffle did go. So what we've said, with some of the balls going quite off field, they have had to call brooms down here. Now there will be some discussion here about which player will be able to get a bludger that is off the field. Oh, and Sam Chittenden there catching the bludger when she was trying to raid the other one. And because of it, with that beater distraction, Nightmares are able to score. So the score is now 30-all. And it looks like they are calling for the Seekers here. So we are currently at a tied match as we are approaching Snitch on pitch. And Dawnbreakers, I think...
You don't want to go join
Dawnbreakers, I think, taking advantage just of having the quaffle as they did.
Okay, cool.
And getting closer towards the Snitch being on pitch, deciding that they will call their timeout now, so that way they can perhaps talk about some strategies to use for the Snitch on pitch play. The Snitch on pitch play does change quite a little bit, with having to focus on different things, particularly for a lot of the beaters. They suddenly may be called to either be focusing either on the Snitch and Seekers, or do they try and focus on quaffle play? What we'll probably see in this match is we will see a large chunk of the beater play probably be well focused on the Snitch, as the quaffle play, as I said here, has kind of just been back and forth with the chasers here really just making opportunities between themselves when they haven't had beaters involved. So just to repeat, yeah, the score here is 30-all at the moment. And we've got both teams and the referee squad just huddling. So we've got 15 seconds now until play resumes. So players will now start returning to their positions, the referees as well, just to make sure that everything is in place for what is now to be a fairly exciting aspect to this match. So as Nightmares did just score before that brooms down and timeout, we will have ESU, the Dawnbreakers, progressing with the quaffle there. Oh, but there's a distraction with the beaters there, allowing Cam Walker to run and drive up the field. Looks like no goal there. His shot going a little bit awry. Martina deciding to just try and score, but I think there will be a brooms down here, with the goal being counted there from Martina. But there will, I believe, a card be here for, and just from Nightmares, for some behind contact on Martina as she did try and take that shot. So score is now 40-30 to the Dawnbreakers. As I said, as we're about to get center pitch, any little play here will count. So remount, and the quaffle will begin with the Nightmares, and Gunny deciding he will just run down the field. Good tackle and a little bit of an inset there from Cam Walker, meaning the ball goes out. So the Dawnbreakers here will retain the quaffle from that play.
It's a bit zoomed in.
Alright, and the Snitch has been released. Snitch just for this match being Jono O'Brien, who returned to Australia from Italy earlier today, and drove back up to Newcastle, got here just before lunch, and has now been just involved in refereeing and is now snitching for this final match. So the Seekers just off to there being Brandon Friesen and Jacob Sutherland, but looks like an intercept there from Gunny just there on the Dawnbreakers offense, resulting in no goal there, so the score remains as 40-30. So Nightmares here will potentially slow things right down just to try and set up a good play. Pass there to Aiden Weatherspoon behind the hoops. Oh, unfortunately, the beat there from Jackson Flynn hitting the hoop down. And as they are still actually continuing quaffle play, the hoop will remain down. So this is quite unfortunate for Nightmares, as they will now have an offense with no middle hoop. And the Seekers have been released. Jacob Sutherland really not being given an opportunity to approach the snitch, as both Nightmares beaters, Harry and Sam, are standing quite close nearby, while Brandon is getting a lot of just open opportunities to attack for the grab. And Martina there with the ball, settling just on that snitch, on that quaffle defense. So it means now the hoops that were both down will be allowed to stand again. Cam Walker deciding to do a pass off to Chloe Kneebone down there, who may have just been silently just down there by herself, but a good tackle there from Sarah King in the Nightmares defense. But however, okay, so many things have just happened. A brooms down was called seconds before Jacob Sutherland with the ESU Dawnbreakers celebrated catching the snitch. So the referees will now congregate down towards that end of the field about what will happen here. Because the question will now also come, as Jacob Sutherland cheered about catching the snitch, did he do it before the brooms down was called? It looks like the tag has returned to the referees, and I think we'll go back on the shorts. So the catch will be called here no good. It means that Jacob Sutherland again will, I think at this point he will be dismounted, as he was potentially just beat before the play there began. And the referees still just down there talking to the Nightmares as well. Oh, we do have an ejection here, so a second yellow card for Gunning, I believe, again just for behind contact, has resulted in him being ejected from the match. So what this will now mean here is, so he will now not be allowed to return to the field at all during this match. He's also not allowed to sit in his sub box. So one of his players, it looks like it will be Tom Russell, will serve out his penalty in the penalty box there, and the quaffle will return down to Chloe Kneebone just with the Dawnbreakers, but still some good tackles there. And again, so it looks like there we do have another call for behind contact there. It looks like that is behind contact still on Chloe, but it is now for Ava McConnell. This will be her first yellow card, so she will not be ejected. She will just go to the penalty box. So the Nightmares now being down two quaffle players for this time. So we'll see now, will the Dawnbreakers be able to score from this? And Chloe Kneebone there just dunking over Sarah King, resulting in a goal for them. So that score is now 50-30. Seek at the play, though, still continuing quite aggressively there. John O'Brien trying to fend off, again, both Brandon Friesen and Jacob Sutherland. Oh, and we heard a very quick catch there from Brandon Friesen. Did look quite clean just from my perspective, but obviously the rest may have a slightly different perspective. What this will mean is that if this catch, and it has been, is called clean, is that the Nightmares will win this match by 10 points. The final score for this match just now being 60-50. So a very well contested final between what is very clearly the two best teams in New South Wales at the moment. So now just congratulating each other there, and Brandon Friesen just collapsing onto the ground, probably in exhaustion from all of that snitch and chasing that he has had to do. So with the end of this match, that does just bring us to the end of the Midwinter tournament. All that will follow from here now is the presentation just of the trophies, along with the announcement of our most valuable player. That will be coming up as well. But this has been lovely commentating for you guys. Okay, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoons, and hopefully just we will you will watch us again when we have our next live stream. Okay, thanks guys.